Hey there, welcome everyone to another Friday night episode of Bobby Legs and Friends. How are you guys? Just doing a mic check here. Let me see. Am I on? Am I on? Am I on? Am I on? Hopefully I am. If you guys can just give me a little heads up, just to make sure you guys can hear me, I'd appreciate that. Anyway, another Friday. We got through the whole week. Man, it's been a rough one. My kids are done with school this week. And so, yeah. Thanks, Deech, letting me know that sound great. Great. They started vacation. They started vacation today, summer vacation. So for the next, what is it? Man, the next 12 weeks. 10 to 12 weeks, they're home, and we barely got through today. Today was the first day, man. Today was the first day. I'm trying to watch the the toppers drop at noon today, right? For their new pre-owned, and they're just running in, and I have a work meeting. I'm like, I should take my buddy Kevin's advice and just block out 12 o'clock on Friday, the calendar, for my work schedule, because of the toppers release. It's almost like a ritual, every Friday to do. And just love seeing, what new releases they have during a week. I uh I think we got a guest here this evening. I'm just gonna wait for him to set up a little bit. And if he can give me the thumbs up when he's ready, I will put him on. But yeah, yeah, got the Citizen over here. Wearing the Citizen Diver. Really, really great watch. Let's get you on here. Hey, Sam.
Hi, Bobby. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm coming in a little bit late. I just finished my Whatnot sale, so I just did a little Whatnot sale. So selling off some of the watches from the channel. So
Oh yeah, yeah. So how did that go?
yeah, it went well. Sold quite a few sort of their lower end watches. I managed to sell the now infamous Pagani designs, so that went for $40. So hopefully that's going to a good home. And then a few other bits as well. So sold a couple of micro brands and things like that. So yeah, it was quite good. So sorry I was a little bit late,
Good.
everyone. But
Yeah, no
having me
worries,
on.
no worries. I think we talked about this, you and I, and I've done the whatnot thing a couple times, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's like doing a live stream, right? It's doing a kind
Yeah,
of like, and you can chat with everyone via the feed, right? And then auction off some stuff, So anyway, were you sad to see the Pagani go?
oh yeah. I mean, I feel like it's become part of the legend of the casual watch review channel now.
Right.
But I actually showed it against the date just because a couple of people were asking me, well, why is it a copy? And then somebody asked me, said, well, it's not a replica, it's a copy. So I just basically put my finger over the logo and said, right, which one's the real?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a bit
Um,
cheeky, a bit naughty, but it's going to a good home. So
yeah, there you go. That's all that matters, right? So what do you have on wrist this evening?
I am still wearing I've been traveling all week, so I had my Seiko GMT on, but as I came back, I've still been wearing the G-Shock, the fitness one
Okay,
with
sure, yeah,
the heart rate
yeah.
sensor in it. So
How's
I'm
your thoughts
actually,
on that? Now,
do you know what?
are they?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I have the Garmin, the Instinct Solar,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
probably the closest Garmin to it.
yeah.
The Garmin is just a more refined product. The
Okay,
software and everything, it's just a little bit more of a refined product. If you love G-Shock and you want the fitness elements, then this is a great choice. But the way that the Garmin not only has the Garmin app, but it can link in with
mm,
bike cadence sensors, and their software and their portal is its portal is really good as well. Um,
yeah,
Casio is just still a little bit too far behind, or a little bit
yeah,
further behind.
yeah. Because I know you've had it now for a little bit, and you were kind of like jury was still out for you on
Yeah.
it, and it seems like you come around a little bit more
Yeah.
to it.
Uh,
Okay.
because I am a G-Shock, I am a big G-Shock fan. So I've decided to keep. In fact, I tried to sell the Garmin on the whatnot. I've decided to keep the G-Shock,
Yeah.
just because I'm a G-Shock fan. And it doesn't look like a sport. It doesn't look like a. It doesn't look like a Garmin. I joke that the Garmin looks like it's from Total Recall, the original one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like it should have like an oxygen sensor, and Arnold
Yeah.
keeps looking
Yeah.
down as the oxygen is as they're all being suffocated. But yeah, so I just love the design of it, and it has enough. It has enough that you can get away with it. The heart rate sensor is good. The sleep tracking is really good on it.
Oh, okay.
But it just doesn't have the bells and whistles with it, like the Garmin does. So if you're really into cycling, you go with the Garmin, I would say.
I follow. It sounds like for me as a G-Shock fan that is probably all that I need, right? I'm not a
Yeah,
cycler, right? I mean, and we have a Peloton, but I mean that keeps the stats. You know what I mean? The Peloton keeps the stats for me.
yeah,
But sleep tracker, a step counter, right? Does it count
yeah,
steps?
yeah. It does a step
Yeah,
counter.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and all package that all into the square look for me. I have this Fitbit, and I'd probably one day, based on whatever review you do on it, I'll probably transition from this to that, just because I just love the G-Shock overall. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
So I've got both. I've got both
yeah,
both versions here. So this is the blue.
yeah,
Casio sent me this one in, and then this is the black version. What
yeah,
is what? I, I mean, this MIP display, this memory and pixel display, is
yeah.
absolutely spectacular. It's worth getting the watch, even if you don't want the fitness sensor, because the
Okay.
display is absolutely spectacular. And another thing that they've done, which I don't know why they don't do this on all G-Shocks, but the Garmin, the bands are always awesome because it's got
Hmm.
almost infinite positions of adjustment. And your
Yeah,
standard G-Shock doesn't have that many holes. But for some reason, they have realized that, hey, this needs to sit closer to the wrist. So they've actually included, you can see that there's a lot more holes than a standard.
yeah,
There's probably double
yeah.
the amount of holes. And they should just put this on all G-Shocks because
Right,
it's a
right.
lot more comfortable fit. So
Yeah,
if you're in between holes on a G-Shock and you usually have to buy a NATO for it,
yeah.
then they should just include this many hole, this multiple hold one. Was that right? Um, on
It
all of
sounded,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, let me ask you, how does it display? So, with the Fitbit, I have an app, and it's
Mhm.
all on the app, right? Is there an interface like that with that G-Shock, or is it just on the watch
Yeah,
itself?
it's the G-Shock connected app. It's the same
Okay.
app that I think
Yeah.
you use with your other, and it
Yeah.
has that's the only problem with it is that it syncs with the apps, and then that's where you get your data on it.
Yeah.
I believe it's powered by Polar,
Mm.
but I couldn't see on the Polar website if you can actually use it doesn't show whether you can use their Polar fitness portal. All it says is that if you hit login, all it does is it logs you into the Casio website where you can see your orders. But so all you can do is see the data on the app. And the other problem with it is, or not problem, but the other thing is if you like to take that data, like export it and put it into a spreadsheet or actually to any other fitness app, like the Garmin does really good with exporting to like Strava, and I've got smart scales that syncs
Mm.
with the G-Shock with the Garmin. Whereas this has none of that. It's literally just the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Good. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm a buyer
yeah,
eventually. It's
I,
just,
I, I, lo- I like it.
yeah. The one thing about this though is that I can wear this on the right and then wear a watch on the left.
Yeah.
Right. And so now I feel, and I always wear this, even while I'm sleeping. So now it's going to be difficult for me because I want to keep all those kind of like stats and whatnot. Do I Schwarzkopf the G-Shock as well? You know what I mean? With my regular watches, I mean, am I able to pull that off, or am I going to be like tethered to that G-Shock all the time because I'm interested in my steps and interested in sleep and stuff like that. So that's the only thing that I'm gonna have to work out. Um, I'm gonna have to work that out on my own and see if that's something I'm willing to do. But let's say hello to the chat, and then we're gonna talk about a topic that I want to get your feedback on and thoughts on. I don't think we've had this discussion yet, although you may have had it with on your stream or on videos. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Let's say hello to Deech, and Deech is first with his Explorer 2. James is here with his VC Historiques. Renaissance. Marceau is wearing his Tudor GMT Big Wrist. What's up? How you doing? Hey, there's the other Explorer 2 this evening from Chaz. Kevin, I'm here. I'm here, Kevin. Don't worry. Hey now, Joey B, what's going on? Caliber, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Joey's wearing his Speedmaster tonight. Canadian Watch Monkey is here. Yeah, James, it's been a long week. I'm with you, man. It's been a long week too. I'm glad to be here with friends as well. Let's see here. Welcome back, Sam. Chaz says.
Thank you.
Deech says Sam. All right. I told you. I mean, the guys, they're ball busters, but they do love you, Sam. So hey, Bill, how you doing? What's going on? KR Joy is here as well. Von Cruel. The sleep tracker function is supposed to be a bit poor on the Garmin's, but everything else on them works well or very well in general. MIP is wicked good. Am I right, Deech? Apple Ultra for me, that's what MST uses. Kevin says, as a high-level athlete, I need to be able to export my fitness data. The world needs to know. Kevin. I just like looking at my sleep stats, Kevin, on the app. I just do. I like to know how many minutes I'm in REM sleep and deep sleep. You know what I mean? I just like to know that. I'm fascinated by it. Bobby really needs a backlit bookcase. Come on, man. I mean, this is the kids' playroom and / office. All right, you know what I mean. Like, I'll put a light. You know what? I'll put a light behind the Easy Bake kitchenette over here.
Yeah.
Anish is here. Justin is strapped in. How you doing, Justin? Mr. Cassioc is here. How are you? Yeah, I need to see these stats. Hey, Pale Horse is here. How you doing, Pale Horse? Good to see you. So, I don't know if you got a chance to see at some point at the end of last week or over the weekend, Paul Thorpe put out a video, Sam, on investing in luxury watches, right? And how he had these 10 secrets that you needed to do in order to, set up your kids or your grandchildren to make them, they're going to be rich by investing. If he uses tips on investing in luxury, specifically Rolex, he pinpointed, and I put out a video this week, kind of like a reaction video to it, and like I don't look, I know there's people out there who view some pieces as investment pieces, and that's all well and good. That's their choice, and I don't begrudge them. I really took issue with Paul's video, and I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but with Paul's video, because he left out a couple of things, right? He basically, I mean, he said the words, "I guarantee that you're going to make money, or your kids are going to be rich with your choice in investments," and I just had a little bit of a problem with that because he's not a financial advisor, and he's guaranteeing there's no guarantees when in kind of investment, no matter if it's real estate, stocks, precious metals and whatnot. And so I just had a little bit of issue with that video. I don't know if you got the chance to see it. Did you get a chance to see it there?
I haven't actually. I'm a big fan of Paul Thorpe. I had the pleasure of meeting him when last time I was in the UK. I went down to London with the Tea and Tickers guys, and we met up with Paul Thorpe. He is how he is on the channel. Like, he's really friendly, really
really
nice. But you're right. you're definitely on shaky ground talking about watches as investments, because the last couple of years is there's a bit of an anomaly, wasn't there, where they went
Hmm.
crazy and everybody suddenly. I mean, I did it with crypto. I thought I was like, king of the crypto, and,
Right.
and then I soon realised that I'm not. Thankfully, I didn't YOLO, as the kids say, all my money
Mm.
into crypto. But certainly, I joke on the channel that I at least lost a Rolex worth of crypto. So,
Mm. Hmm.
but yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because also it's within a generation that Rolex went from affordable to not affordable, didn't it? Like I guess
Right.
even in the 90s, early 2000s, they
Oh,
were
early
still
2000s
readily,
even. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, they were still readily available. So it's totally dependent on if they suddenly up their production, and
Yeah.
you can buy a brand new Submariner unless you've got. I imagine that he was probably talking about. Was he talking about rare Rolexes or just the standard ones?
Well, in his like 10 secrets, right? I mean, first he says, you got to pick um steel sports, right? Or sports watches, right? I mean, so like I think he's saying like, don't go for a date just. I mean, those are pretty common. He did mention um, you know, um, if you could get, discontinued watches is something that you want to look for, right? Um, yeah, I mean, look, I just I'm very um cautious, or not cautious, but very, very wary of treating luxury watches, and to the point that you brought, last couple of years is things have changed as an asset class, right? Now, one of the things that he left out in this video was that, look, I'm sure Paul's a great guy, right? This is not just a slam. It's not, a hit piece on Paul. It's just a disagreement that I have with him. Like I said, I'm sure he's a great guy, and knows more about watches than I'll ever know, right? For sure, because it was his career, selling watches. But that video, it's dangerous in a sense that, there's people of all levels watching his videos. And I
Mm,
think, look, I think if you have a lot of money, right? If you have a lot of discretionary income, money to burn and spend, if you want to mess around with crypto, if you want to mess around with luxury watches and Rolex, I mean, that's your prerogative. If it's a small part of your total portfolio, so be it. That's great. Take a chance, right? But
yeah,
like guys like me and you, well, I don't know what you're, but guys like me, I can't afford to do that, right? I mean, I have a tight, narrow window to operate, right? It's 401k,
yeah,
it's real estate, meaning my house, it's whatever kind of like investment that has a track record, right? So like gold and silver, as a place to store wealth, has existed for thousands of years, right? People have been using it, right? It's never going away.
yeah,
Real estate, the same, right? Stocks, people have been trading stocks for hundreds of years, right? And so there is a track record here with, let's forget about crypto. With luxury watches, it's only been the last couple of years that people have been actually thinking that way, right? And quarantine, right? So we're stuck. We're not traveling anymore. We're not spending. We get, hit with some, not hit, but injected with financial stimulus, right? And so we got money to burn, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it was easier to make a quick buck. And I think you see that with a lot of people who are selling and dealing watches, who are not selling and dealing watches anymore because they're out, because they're just,
yeah,
weren't equipped to roll with the ups and downs, that you see with this asset class, right? So, I just really wish that he just had pinpointed. I have no problem with him making the video per se. It's just that, give me some caveats here. Give me, this is not for everybody. Give me, I'm not a financial advisor. Give me, there's no guarantees in anything. You know what I mean? And then I think I would have been okay with it. So I think that's where my issue is with. Let's catch up. I want to get more of
yeah.
your
I thought,
thoughts here, but
oh,
let's
yeah,
catch up with
definitely.
everybody here.
Yeah, please, yeah.
James is saying I disagree with Paul's video, but it seemed joyless, which is on brand for him. I feel so much better having Paul Thorpe looking out for me caliber. I think, okay, so I think a lot of people maybe people's Paul Thorpe's favorite topic is how to get all your. Oh, okay. Man, Kevin, I sold all my Bitcoin and bought US stamps. Man, Center Time is saying. Blanco says I mined a small amount of ETH and made a couple of grand. Better than a kick in the pants. Good for you, man. I mean, that takes a lot of time to mine that kind of stuff, from what I understand. Hey, Thomas, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Rob, just a little tip for your excellent reaction video warning us not to invest in watches. People should be investing in ISAs, stocks, etc., and getting professional financial advice. Watches are not for investing. Agree, Thomas. Caliber saying Bobby's reaction video to Paul Thorpe was really good. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it, Caliber. Marcel saying I prefer old school investments, large wooden chest filled with gold coins. I bought 100 Baby Yoda dolls when they came out. Keep them in plastic. In 20 years, I'll be set. That's funny. I'm not buying a watch. James says I will not wear. I'm sorry. I'm not buying a watch I will not wear for kids. I do not have Grogu or bust. Joey B, no better investment than Bobby likes switches. Thanks, Joey. I appreciate it. Scott's saying good investors do not give investment advice unless they are paid. Once a strategy becomes public, the strategy is less valuable. This is investing 101. And you know, look at the end of that video, Sam. He said something really, really interesting. He said, if you take my advice right now, if you had bought that Daytona in 1970 something, you'd made a ton of money right now, right? And I just like thought that was hilarious because, like, you know, the example I use in my video is like, okay, well, if I told you in 2023 that you should have put $1,000 in Amazon in the IPO, that'd be worth $1.1 million. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's, anybody can say that. And I think that's dangerous again. Because I think that's dangerous. I think, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. No, sorry. I was just totally agreeing with you. You just made me instantly. I already mentioned about Total Recall, didn't I, about this looking like Total Recall, but Time Cop as well, where the opening scene of Time Cop is he goes back, doesn't he, because another person has jumped to go to the New York Stock Exchange before the Great Depression or something, and he manages to arrest, or he jumps out the window, doesn't he, before he can invest in, is it IBM or something? It's like when they first started. But I totally agree with you, because I made a video also once years ago, and this was when Rolex. This was pre-pandemic, and I talked about. I think I went back to 2012, I think it was, and the Daytona at that time was $10,000. So I worked out, well, no, it's 2010. I said, okay, well, if you'd invested $10,000 in Bitcoin in 2010, you'd be looking at multi-millions. Same with, you're right, same with, I used Amazon as an example, and I used a couple of others, and all of them would have outperformed what the Daytona was worth. At that time, I think the Daytona is worth $25,000. This was 2017, 2018. So you're totally right. The other thing as well with watches is they are an illiquid asset, aren't they? Like if you it might be worth the price, but if you need to sell it, you're taking a bath on it likely. You know, if you're it's the same with, you know, you have to find a buyer who wants to buy one. You have to be able to. I was on a live stream with Roman Scharf about probably 6 months ago, and he talked about. I asked him about the Daytona prices when Daytonas were going up to 60,000 at that time, like, you know, when they were going crazy. And he said that the only Daytonas that he ever saw for sale over that were around that price, he says, was dealers trying to sell to other dealers. He never sold to a watch buyer a Daytona at those prices.
Yeah, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme, right? You know what I mean? Like at that point. Yeah. PK saying, any advice either to collect Rolex for your kid's financial future or not is still advice that should be coming from a trusted, certified financial advisor. And look, I agree to that. There's people out there who I know who are not financial advisors, licensed financial advisors, but who know what they're talking about. I'll give them a pass, but I know them very well, right? You know what I mean? It's not like I'm taking advice from somebody on YouTube, a financial advice from somebody from YouTube. You know what I mean? Who's not licensed and who sounds like they're legit, but I don't know them. I don't know their background, and then following that kind of advice. So, yeah, I mean, like, definitely, big moves like that, follow whatever your financial advisor says. If you're not, don't sell
Yeah,
all
make
your
sure they're a fiduciary as well, so that they're not actually biased either on what
right.
what they'll sell you. And you're right, they're like is it in fiduciary or non-fiduciary? The one where they have exposure to all of the market, and those are the ones you have to pay instead of the other
Right.
the ones that are on commission.
Yeah. Anybody who tells you to, cash in your IRA and buy Rolex, you probably, shouldn't follow what they're saying.
Yeah,
Myself,
yeah. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
I was gonna
No,
I was
no, no,
gonna
no, go
say
ahead.
the Rolex is one where it's kind of that little bonus surprise, isn't it? Like you find your grandfather's Rolex and you find out it's worth $10,000. It was one of those like surprise finds, isn't it? It's not where there's been, where it's been planned out. And funny. Well, two funny things. One, I probably know more about buying Baby Yoda Grogu futures than most people because my wife actually works for Disney in one of the Star Wars parts of the theme park. So she, anyway, maybe that's a separate topic. But the other one is I'm lucky and very proud to work with a lot of ex military veterans. There's a lot in my company. The company was set up by military veterans, and whenever I'm talking to them and they explain, my father was in the military and I'll come from a long line, the first question I always ask them was any of your family members in Vietnam and did they buy a Seiko and do they still have it? Because those Vietnam era Seikos are probably percentage wise more valuable than, have gone up percentage wise in price more than probably what an equivalent Rolex is. So I'm always interested to, that's a question I always ask.
Yeah. Now a couple of things that are coming back to me on the video, he just assumes Paul does that you're going to have access to all these Rolexes, right? In order to build this, this financial chest of for your future, for your kid, right? I mean, so look, I waited a long time to get my Submariner. You know what I mean? Like, I may wait years before I get, and this is from the dealer. This is at MSRP. I might be waiting years for a GMT. I may never see a Daytona. You know what I mean? So that's just, you need multiple of these pieces to talk about the kind of riches that Paul was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you need 10, 20, 30 of them. You know what I mean? In order for them to all add up. And if you're working with like I believe at some point he says he's not making money off of any of this. It's all free advice. Although he does advertise a dealer in the beginning of the video in the bottom. And if you're working with like somebody like a dealer who's not like an authorized dealer or salesperson for a boutique, if you're working for somebody who deals in secondhand, well, you're not getting this at MSRP, right? You're paying already the rate of return for the first person. Like, you're overpaying right now, quote unquote. You're paying double, right? So then how much more can your investment go? The pieces that go for astronomical amount of money are the ones that are rare, right? You know what I mean? Like, a Cermet is not gonna, pay your kid's college or 4 years of college in the next 10 to 15 years, right? If you have one of those.
Yeah. You
So
need the tiger print dial or that new emoji one. You probably need one of those.
Right. Or a couple or 5 Tiffany Ps. I think they're still even though the prices have come down, they're still way above retail,
Yeah.
right? Because it's been discontinued, right? But you need several of those to make that kind of thing happen. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, and
I'm
the
kind
other
of
thing
being.
that
Mhm.
yeah, the thing that happened to Paul as well. I mean, he's talked about it on the channel multiple times where he got really brutally beaten up, and he had his Rolex, not his Rolex, sorry, his AP offshore stolen, and that's like $30,000 gone, isn't it? So it's
Mhm.
also you've probably and if you do have a lot of Rolexes, you're likely going to have to store them somewhere. So you'd have to factor in the
Yeah.
cost of a safety deposit box
Right.
and that
Right.
depreciating against the the return at the end.
Yeah. He said the only downside to all this, and I know I'm picking out points of the video, and it's all over the video, but I'm if you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'll
But he
definitely watch
pitched,
it after this. Yeah.
but he said like the downside of all this, and this is where like the point where I was ready to like hear like all the disclosures, right? That there's chances are that this investments may not come to fruition. I mean, like, there's risk and whatever, this and that. So the only downside is like you're not going to be able to live to enjoy this. This is for your children, so you're never going to be able to enjoy that watch, or you know what I mean. And it's just like, dude, come on, man. I mean, give me something, man. Give me some sense of responsibility here. Ronco said, what if you had put my same money in the next one? And look, I
Yeah.
had a comment. I'm not going to mention who made the comment in the video, but the person had said that in the early 70s, he had bought a Datejust for like $350, right? Or $450, whatever it was. Now that watch, if he sold it, is worth $6,000. And that sounds amazing, right? That sounds amazing, right? So I ran the numbers. If you invested that $350, $450 amount in the S&P 500 and beginning in 1974, in 2023, you'd have 57,000 in your account.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And
people back
if you
then
dollar
didn't.
cost averages over that time, you would have had a lot more, wouldn't you? Because
Oh
of the
yeah,
crashes
yeah, and
and
and, re-
boom and
and
busts.
and
Yeah.
and you have to reinvest the dividends, right? That was part of it. You got to reinvest the dividends. But I mean, like, nobody in the 60s and 70s and 80s were buying watches as an investment. You know what I mean? So, um, the last couple years really threw everything out of whack. It just changed everything, and our perception of reality is just gone.
It is. And you're right. Everybody thought that they were amazing at selling watches. Also, a lot of real estate agents popped up, didn't they? That when the housing market was
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
and they are that's it. What is it? I forget that there's a Warren Buffett quote, isn't there? Is it like when the tide goes out, you see who's wearing shorts, or you see who's treading water or something.
Right. That guy's brilliant. Yo, Watch Chris, what's going on, man? How you
Yeah.
doing? Hey, Watch Chris.
Yeah.
If you want to come
Congratulations on
join.
his
Oh yeah,
100,000.
100,000 subs. Here's a link, Chris, if you want to join us as well.
Yeah. Join the Chris again.
Yeah, better when speculators leave the hobby and purists are left behind. And another downside of like people taking like Rolex, for example, and using them as investment, and putting them away in a safe. It's like it takes away from the watches like guys like me and you who want to buy them and wear them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's just that much less out there, for us, because I like to wear my watches. Sam is heavily interested in Star Wars memorabilia, betting heavy on Jar Jar Binks.
That is it. Unfortunately, that is that. I actually have a friend who does collect Star Wars, but I mean, where would you? Luckily, I don't. There's so much of it now. Like you'd fill up your house, wouldn't you? But no, I'm not. I like the original trilogy, but I'm not too fond of the newer stuff.
Right. And I hear the streets in America are paved in gold. Great to see. Okay. Let's see here. Caliber saying, I'm waiting 3 years now for an Explorer 2 or a now discontinued Milgauss. Can't just buy like Paul implies, and both not going to set me up for retirement either. Right. Joey B saying, if bacon is an investment, Chaz and I are taking over the world. Uh, that's great. All right, a lot of jokes, going on here.
Yeah, I saw that XYZ777. He did a movie quote, but then he did the mortal sin of quoting the wrong film afterwards. He said the uh, the biggest dickest reference is from Mel Brooks' History of the World. It's not. It's a Monty Python reference. But anyway, we'll let it slide.
Speaking of XYZ777, that's Paul. Everyone is a genius in a bull market. TVG sold a watch. I rest my case. Yeah, everybody is a genius in a bull market. That's a really good point. Joey B, I also put my life savings on a Segway back in 2020.
Well,
Segue to Segway. A couple years ago, I lived near a small town called Easton, Pennsylvania, and around July 4th, they do a lot of like festivals on the weekends, and especially in the summer, like whether it be like Bacon Festival, they have a Bacon Festival, which is great. Garlic Festival, which is awesome, and they do some like Patriot Festival during like July 4th, and they had somebody dressed up in revolutionary gear, clothing, period clothing, reading the Declaration of Independence. As soon as he was done, he jumped on his Segway and just like scooted off. And I just thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen, was somebody dressed
that
up
would
as
I
a
would I would
Minuteman.
find that hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, as a Minuteman on his Segway going around town. Okay. Phantom Menace action figures. Okay. I wonder what percentage of purchase is drunk international travel. I bet it's really high, as is how many Swiss luxury brands are lost in drawers. Okay. Sure. I wonder. That's maybe
Yeah, I
a
mean,
topic for another discussion.
yeah, it's good because I think that's what I think about a lot of these rare Rolexes that are found that are sold. They're more like barn find cars, aren't they? Like at the time, people bought a car and they drove it to death, whereas some people put it in a barn and were like, "Oh, I'll drive it another day," and then suddenly somebody discovers it. It feels like that more than it being a conscious decision to, "Oh, I'm going to collect this car because it's worth something." And I think that was perhaps, what many of those vintage Rolexes were always bought to be worn. Very few
Yeah.
probably were bought to be. If they are pristine, it's because somebody forgot about it rather than they did it on purpose.
Or yeah, right, exactly. Or like or you go to, they found like something in an estate sale. You know what I mean? Like they're just somebody that just never worn, put it like somewhere in a closet and just never worn. There are people out there who've done that, like all the time. There's like people. My God, it was Life of Brian. Too many mimosas for Paul today.
No, I had to point it out because I use the Life of Brian as there's a scene in the Life of Brian that best sums up YouTubers getting ad revenue for videos, but I'll perhaps tell that story another time. But if it's a new YouTuber, to explain ad revenue to them and how much you earn, I use a Life of Brian reference.
Nice. I want to hear it when you gotta tell me. Most of my purchases were impulse buys and while under the influence of semi-legal substances. I have a towel with Elvis sweat on it, worth a mint. Okay. All right. Hey, listen. Well, Sam, thanks for being part of that discussion. Love hearing your thoughts on it. And yeah. Watches are not necessarily smart investments. You might get lucky, but it may not work out. Anyway, you want to take a look and see if anything new came out, and then get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I've been traveling all week, so a lot of this will probably be a surprise.
Get a fresh take.
Except some of the new Seikos that came out were pretty cool, though. The speed timers. Oh wow, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. So this is a sort of a reissue, right? From the SRPK 17, and yeah, cool looking watch, right?
Yeah, I like that.
I think this is
It's
the
got the
original.
almost speed timer case, hasn't it, on it?
Yeah.
Now, I'll just get mine. I mean, it's not too far off the vintage sort of speed timer. A little bit. It's got the sort of.
Let me see.
Side.
Let me get you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 69. It's not too far off. Obviously, without the buttons, but it has got the recessed crown. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
now,
really cool.
yeah. Here, So this I mean I haven't had an experience with Seiko's recessed crowns. Had it with the Citizen Sayosa, and found it very very difficult. Albeit you don't have to wind that watch, but manipulating the crown to change the date or the time, I found a little bit challenging. Took me a while to figure out, not a while, it took me a while to figure out that, you kind of have to grab it and then like use the back of your finger kind of to
Yeah,
change the date, right? You
it,
could
it
like putting the thumb around it. It was too close to the case. So
yeah. So this is it's almost a one for one of this crown here. Is almost identical to that picture. But what was absolute genius? This is a chronograph. What's genius is on these vintage ones, you pushed in the crown. The crown also pulls out to set the time, but you push it in to change the day and date. It's absolute genius. And I don't know if they've ever done a watch that did the same, or except for
yeah.
this 6139 movement. Absolute genius. I don't know why more people don't use it. So you click to change the day and date, and then you pull it out for the. I doubt that does the same, but it would be cool if they did replicate that.
Yeah, let's
I love
pull out
that though.
the new speed timer here. Um I really like them.
I do.
I gotta tell you.
I was joking on my chat that I'm synonymous with having a real thing about having to have the date on a watch, and I joke that this is probably the first watch that I will consciously buy that doesn't have the date.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm impartial with the date. Sometimes I like to having the date on it, sometimes I don't. It doesn't really I'm not that it's not as polarizing for me. But I don't know. I kind of look, I think this is like ugly yet awesome looking. You know what I mean? Like the too many pushers here, right? And the crown. So yeah, I mean I put a deposit down.
Well,
Screw it. I'm gonna get
the
this.
one that I don't know if you've. I'm putting you on the spot here, but the green version is the green version of this is beautiful,
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
let's pull that one up here.
Yeah,
I'm just going on Toppers because I know they had it. They sent an email.
yeah. So I'm
Are
putting you
you
on the
talking about
spot.
this one over here
There
on
you
the
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is nice too. This is limited to 4,000 pieces, I think.
Oh wow.
Um, it's cool too. I may put a deposit down on this one too. Yeah, I like the look. I like the the minute hands here and the second hands being in orange for sure, and
Yeah, and it's blacked
just
out
nice
sort of to
contrast. You know.
yeah. I love this. Hopefully it's yeah. I see when they release whether they stay around that price. If I might have to bite the bullet if they do, or hopefully I'm going to Japan at the end of the month, so maybe I'll be able to
Oh
track one down there.
yeah, I am a little wary on. I've never tried a solar quartz Seiko that I liked.
Oh really?
So yeah, just the way it feels like the sumo
Oh, I
chrono
love
that's solar, you know what I mean? That's why like, I was really curious the other day, like when you, because I think you have a sumo GMT,
yeah, the
right?
Sumo GMT. Yeah,
That's why like a couple weeks ago I was asking you a lot of questions about it because like it's just a solar there's something about, I don't know, it's the feel, which is hypocritical because like I got this over here and Citizen, and I'm totally fine with Citizen and any kind of like eco drive that they have. A solar drive is fine with me, but it's not like it's a tactical feel for me. For some reason, it just feels really really shallow and empty. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
I mean, they've done it. I've got the solar speed timer, the last one,
yeah,
the C911, and the only problem with that is that the date is really far behind the dial. It's
yeah,
right at
yeah,
the
yeah,
back
yeah,
behind,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's something that Citizen does. I think Citizen does their eco drive technology a little bit better,
Yeah, for sure,
certainly
for sure.
with the chronographs.
Yeah, I I did have that watch also for like a hot minute. That's Speedmaster, that the Seiko, the one you're talking about, and I also it just felt like really like chintzy to
Oh,
me.
I
It
love it.
looked great. and pictures, and I was like, oh, that looks really, really awesome. I got to pick that up. But there was something about it I just didn't. So long story short, I'm hoping that I don't get that vibe from this one. I don't think I will. And that might be just wishful thinking. But I'm looking forward to it. I think they come out like later in the year here.
Yeah, the president's bracelet. This is hit or miss for me. I had the 38 mil speed timer, and I did not like it at all. But then the latest one, the SSC 911, even it was like a 21 mil lug width, and for some reason I love the bracelet on that. So actually Uncle Seiko makes a I'll just hang on, I'll just get it. Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. Man. Watch Chris saying the speed timer looks like an old SLQ Kinetics. Dibs already ordered one. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. So this is the SSC 911, which so I actually keep it on the bracelet. But one of the things that changed the look and feel of the bracelet for me is Larry over at Uncle Seiko, or Uncle Straps as it is now, makes the clasp with an extra notch. So it has 3 positions of micro adjustment instead of the 2. And this changed my view on the whole thing. It fits a lot better. Okay. But oh yeah, sorry, it's upside down. But yeah, I love the grey and black.
So maybe that's what that needed for me. Maybe I just need something, like a slightly better quality bracelet. I mean, like the bracelets aren't terrible.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Strap Code haven't made one for this version. They've made one for the 38. Right. And I'm amazed that they haven't made one. That's the thing with the Solar Sumo, is that the case shape's slightly different. So even I can't buy an aftermarket bracelet for it. The lugs are a little bit too shallow. So it only fits the stock bracelet that it comes with, unfortunately. But
T says he needs a Sportura. I don't know. I haven't been sold on the Sportura yet. Maybe I need to think about it more. It's genius. Everyone needs a Pogue. Whoa, too many pushers going on there. Yeah, I know, Rob. I kind of hate it, like it. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. It's like, I kind of hate it, but I love it. Looks like Shrek's head. Yeah, Shrek's head. Yeah, for sure. That's the one, but not sure about the 2-tone bracelet there. I'm sure that looks probably better in person, though. I think. Yeah. Where's the intern to tell us not to buy? Or too late. Already done. I already put my deposit down. PK saying, I love my SNE 577 Black Edition Solar Tuna. Super accurate. Game changer. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I like these. I'm looking forward to picking one up. Hopefully, you said, Sam, that you're going to be over in Japan in about a month or two.
At the end of this month, actually. So I'm going to try and go. I'm going with my wife and some friends. So I'm going to try and go to the Seiko Museum, but also I have to be wary not to, take a day out of their vacation when they're not into watches. But I'm going to try and go to the Seiko Museum.
Yeah, I believe this is a new release as well. This particular Astron.
I like the look of them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I certainly, it definitely is interesting for sure. I'm not 100% sold on it yet, but this is one I'm definitely gonna. I mean, I'll take a chance with the other ones, not seeing them in person. This one, I would have to see it in person.
Yeah, and because that's the thing with it, isn't it? Like 2 grams too much to take a punt on something, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, super interesting. Let's go back to monochrome. See anything else has come out that is of interest. Let's look new in here in 2023. It might be pretty quiet. I think it might be.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if we talked about the Tissot, the Seidel, or whatever it's called.
The Tissot.
Yeah, absolute. One of them, one of them's already sold out now. This is the carbon cased Tissot. They're spectacular.
You know how that spell that?
It's let me find
cedar roll. Side roll.
Yes.
These guys over here.
Let me have a look. Yes, there you go. Yeah, so the yellow one completely sold out. They're carbon
Ah,
cased, $1,000. They're using the Powermatic 80. They're awesome.
oh,
I would
interesting.
have bought this already if it hadn't sold out. I think Watch Chris was trying to buy one as well. The blue one and the red one, you can buy them. So they're actually apparently quite faithful to the original. And the brace, they've copied the strap on this. And what's interesting about the strap is that it's actually using the same fastening system as what the Apple Watch does, except
Mm.
apparently they invented it first, like in the whatever it was, the 80s when this first came out. So that's what's quite interesting about it. The strap, sort of, how the Apple Watch sort of tucks up and under. That's what this rubber does on this one.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Sushi and Seiko's sounds like a fun vacation.
Yeah,
I think if you just did okay and not awesome with your Seiko interest exam, you get set to Seiko Solar. Rob was saying my brother has an original cider roll. Bought it
yeah,
from the intern. That Tissot is pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting. I don't know if it's for me,
really,
but it's
yeah,
certainly interesting. And I think yellow would be the one. Just looking at
yeah.
them.
The blue's nice as well, but the thing with the blue is that it's forged carbon, and they put a blue coloring through the carbon. So
Oh,
the
I could
actual
see it.
blue,
Yeah,
and I think that would annoy me.
yeah.
Whereas the other two have the forged carbon, but it's like a silver mixed in there. That it looks more like forged carbon than
Right,
having the
right.
blue in there.
I see what
The
you mean.
blue
Yep,
looks
yep.
almost like it's you know, more toyish, maybe. I don't know. Sorry if anybody's bought one, but if they got a picture of the strap so you can see the fastening.
Yeah. Let's take a look here. Strap.
Just so you can see
Show
the
more.
reverse bit. There you go. See how it's similar to how the Apple Watch would fasten
Ah, okay.
up and under, or under and up.
Under and up. Ah, it looks fairly thin.
Yeah, and it's going to be super light because it's forged carbon. And we
Right.
were trying to think of what the equivalent would be. And I know Doxa do a forged carbon, but that's like $4,000. I think actually Scottish Watches, Dave at Scottish Watches was mentioned that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Super
I'll
interesting.
look at that. Yeah.
Navy Blue Monster likes it. I'm missing the Topper event right now. They brought in sushi chefs apparently.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure about the Powermatic 80. Seems annoying to regulate. Can't buy parts.
I've heard that they're difficult to regulate, but I mean the Powermatic 8 is what Hamilton. Well, I mean obviously it's a Hamilton use that as well, don't they? The Powermatic
Yeah.
80. So
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, I've heard some stories about the Powermatic 80, and it is what it is. I mean, like um, you don't. I don't think you get these things serviced. I mean, you just live with it, right? If it's under warranty and something goes wrong, you send it back. But other than that, I think you kind of just have to live with what you get if it's not what you hope to be. Let's see here. What's new for Hodinky? Yeah, I think I think that's pretty much it that's been going on in the last like week or so.
what's
Anyway,
that?
hey, what do you so what do you got cooking, Sam, in the
Yeah,
next week or so?
yeah. So I've got I need to finish off the review of the uh, the um, the Citizen that we both own.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna review this. I'm gonna finish off the review of this one, and I've been sent a pre-released watch. It's a Spinnaker watch. That is a
Mm.
pre-released one that they're doing a special edition. I think they're releasing it on. Do you know what? I wonder if I can actually talk about it. Let me just check their
Sure. Yeah,
see
absolutely.
when the embargo is over, because the embargo might actually still be. Yeah, I think judging from. Oh no, I can talk about it. Okay, so yeah, I'll send you the link, and I can actually also show the watch. But they've done a more turtle version than it's funny. The thing that's interesting about this Spinnaker watch is it's an actual turtle watch that they are actually saving the ocean with. They're actually donate. So Seiko obviously have their save the ocean, but it's a bit like, oh,
Sure.
which ocean is being saved, Seiko? And they have some stuff on there, but this actually has lineage back to it's a collab with the Blue Marine Foundation. So I put their link in the old private chat. But so it's a turtle, so, which is interesting. So I'm going to do a review of that one. They kindly sent it me, and I think the NATO's made from ocean plastic or something, but they're donating money to the Blue Marine Foundation. So
I gotta tell you, it's not a. I mean, I kind of like it. I kind of like this.
The box artwork is actually pretty cool. So you've got the Marine Conservation Society. I said Blue Marine Foundation. That's the Christopher Ward one. Sorry, this is the Marine Conservation. We're doing a bit of an unboxing on that live. Unboxing.
Why not?
You get your little pamphlet about how we're all, killing the earth with our plastic bottles, and then inside it, it's actually pretty cool. It's got like a bit there. The NATO is stored in here, and then you've got the actual watch itself, which it's a decent size. The only thing with it is, I would say, I mean, straight off, the only thing is that there's not a great deal of contrast there, is there, between the
right.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty decent. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing it's NH35A, like a lot of the Spinnaker ones. It's got that sort of countdown bezel.
Sure.
But, so I'll be doing a review of that bad boy. I think they go on sale on the 16th this month. Too thick.
Did you say too thick? Yeah, I mean, look, you buy this watch because you're getting a watch, but you're kind of making a donation here. You know what I mean, to whatever to the cause. I kind of like it, but like you said, I mean, the contrast, between the hour and a minute's hand and the dial it's a little tough, but so what? I mean, I think it's kind of cool, actually. Got to be honest with you.
Yeah, and $445. That's the good thing with Spinnaker, is they're well made. They're Hong Kong. I think it's a British. The brand's based in Britain, but the watches are made in Hong Kong, and they're part of the AV8, and they own a few of the other brands as well, don't they? The Dartmouth group that is the conglomerate.
Yeah. Kevin S. Bobby needs concert. I do. It killed the dream of owning that one sumo. What's that? The ice, one of those sumo ice styles or whatever. There's three of them, and and the one with the pale blue. I in pictures, I was just like, that's the sumo for me. And then when I got it, I could. Certain light, I couldn't even read the time.
The 12. I made this comment on the
right.
War 12 was the same thing, that it's like silvery blue, and a G-Shock, when they black out the hands sometimes, and they got the black dial and stuff like that. It's not a lot of contrast.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to that, Sam. As well. Yeah, Ice Diver. Thank you, Kevin. Looking forward to that. I think it's a good looking watch. Anyway, Sam, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Really appreciate it. Coming in after your whatnot. And chat. Thank you so much again for all that you do, for being here, and you guys really drive the show for us. Stay tuned for on Sunday. We'll have another episode of Watch Soup. No Clayton, but probably Sanjay. Otherwise, I'll just do it myself with a couple of topic videos. And enjoy the rest of your weekends, guys, and take care. See you next week.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Take care.